So we have Vindicator, previously known as Mechamista, playing the Babylonian civilization in the northwest corner. His opponent is Optimal Acorn and he's playing the Greeks. Finding some wolves on his hunt, that was annoying. Let me quickly do some advertising for the stream so we get some more people informed. While these guys built their barracks. I'm just gonna spam a bunch of discords. Okay, now that that's done, thank you all for tuning in. So this is the first round of the Gerda's Gauntlet. After this match I will close the first round and we will know who will play in the tournament, which starts exactly 24 hours from now. We will have the High Garden stream, so it's going to be a long stream, several hours, 4 series, which will be the quarterfinals, High Garden. And after that on Sunday at the same time, so 48 hours from now, we will have the second part of the tournament and also the final part. So it's going to be a 2-day tournament. Hope you're all excited. We have some really good players signing up, some previous tournament champions. We have Recon, we have Zertan, all the familiar faces. Eerie as well. It's really in need of a tournament win, I would say. Right, so we have some action going on. Both players going for that fast barracks. Starting on the wood. Finding a bit closer to Optimal's base, so he does have a slight advantage in numbers there. 3 against 2. The 4th on their way. So very close. So in these kind of situations you really want to pull away those spears that are hurt, so he's running away with this damaged one and targets the enemy spears one by one. So very nice micro here by Vindy doing exactly that. And then ideally you would like to return with these damaged spearmen later and do some more damage. So very nice micro here by Vindicator. He's doing a lot better job than Optimal Acorn. So I'm going to remove the chat hider, so every player can restart the game if they indicate so in the first 2 minutes of the game. Because sometimes you would like to restart because you have a bad hunt or something, or for whatever reason. I like this play by Optimal, sending in one spearman to deal with the damage. And he's pushing back Vindy now. These guys are committing really hard to edge 1. The scout has been tanking some damage as well. So let's see what they're doing back home. Some barriers are being gathered already. Lots of gold. Optimal's going to edge 2. And he will have access to the high pass pist, which is an anti-infantry melee unit you can build from the barracks. Vindy, on the other hand, other side of the map, just now edging up. And in edge 2 he won't be able to make an anti-infantry unit, because the Babylonian civilization has shield bearer. So it's going to be interesting, even though Vindicator is kind of pushing Optimal back right now. Once he hits H2, there they are, the high pass pist will shoot a scare away these spearmen. These spearmen need to be careful, to be honest, because high pass pists are also faster. They're like 1 speed faster. Look at them go. Here's the heroic Spartan helmets you can get in the Sparta region. Let's get a villager count 19 for Optimal. 22 for Vindy. However, that does include ox carts. So that even on the villagers, both at 19. Optimal looks like he's going to go for Fast Town Center. And the Town Center is already going up for Vindicator. So a little bit of a better start for Vindy. He's also got his hand cell upgrades almost finished. Optimal making use of his advantage and pushing across the map. This is a very brave high pacifist, and as I said, he is faster, so he will be able to chop away. Let's see how much damage he does in one hit. Here you can see just how strong these high pacifists are, even surviving that. Yeah, so we have some questions in the chat whether gear matters. So you do see some gear here, but yeah, if I hover over this, you will see this item only provides a visual upgrade. So yeah, PvP, we have a balance theme for PvP, which ensures that all the civilizations are equally strong, and there's no advantage in having a higher level. So Vindicator is level 36, Optimal is level 40, but it doesn't matter. It's just a visual. It just provides visual updates. Right. So second town center is already up for Optimal. He's going for an archery range back at home. So got his pickaxe. And we have the 1-1-1 for Vindy. So Vindy kind of slow transitioning to more units. He got a bit too much food and wood, as you can see, and not enough gold to pump out some units. So he's kind of vulnerable to an attack here. But then again, not really. He has some archers out already. There's no Lancer being produced yet. But he's cleaning up this force really nicely, climbing ahead in the population. There's also a few villagers ahead because he has had its town center a bit faster. But on the other hand, Optimal denied some gathering time, some damage to these villagers, which won't be healing up anytime soon. Fourth building for Vindicator is an archery range. And I feel Optimal is kind of overextending here. I mean, hypers are good, but when there's bowmen on the field, there's already 7 bowmen, and you want to get out of there. He's actually going for only barracks and archery range. Not sure how I feel about this play. I would like to see a stable to deal with the bowmen. Let me also open up the Streamlabs so I can see who is following the stream. Thanks for the follow. I think that was a follow. Yeah, so Vindicator's slightly ahead. He's got the 3 Lancer force looking for a raid. And here we go. I'll figure this out some other time. It was let's see what's going on. Vindicator pushing across the map. You got a pretty nice force. 11 bowmen, 7 spearmen. He's making some gardens. Let's see, what does the army look like for optimal?
Ahura Mas, bless you.
I think I need to sort out my alerts before tomorrow, because I think they're showing up twice. Alright, I'll deal with it later. So it looks like Optimal is pushing out here and he's gonna have his army caught. Some nice scouting, but his army is getting trapped. This is looking really bad for him. He's forced to run away. So the other half of his army is here and he's actually going to push in, it seems. He's not taking that many losses. He is sending them over to help. Population is looking quite equal. Villager count is also quite equal. So this could be a turning point in this game. We will see here if the decision for Optimal to skip the Sarasofra altogether was correct. Looks like Vindicator is not even willing to take that fight. It was not the best position for him. And these Toxotes are really good. Looks like he will get a nice volley off here. Shoot! No, he won't. Both players are looking here. Vindicator actually mixing in some slingers as well, so he could slinger tag these Toxotes. PC nerd with the host. Thanks, Igor. I needed that. See, what I can do is test what the follow sound looks like. Okay, this is the follow sound. Never mind, I remember what I did wrong. We have 2 different accounts. Right, fighting in the middle. The lances are getting destroyed by these spearmen in the front. But there are still a lot of lances. These Toxotes are completely untouched. Doing lots of damage. So the Greek archer, the Toxotes, is the highest amount of damage out of any of the archers. Ooh, interesting move here. Trying to get some more hits with this archer ball. But Optimal is pulling ahead, man. He's flanking with the Toxotes. He's up 20 population. He's moving around his bowman ball a lot, losing out on some valuable damage. But this composition seems to be doing fine. Here we see an armory going up for Vindicator. Let's see if Optimal has one in his base. He did build his stables. So there's a Sarasophroi as well. Right, so the rules for this tournament are that the loser of the first game gets to pick the map for the second game. So we have a pretty big map pool, a lot larger than in previous tournaments. I also included some of the maps that Recon made. So some of the new maps are also in there. Oh, this one spearman actually got the ox card. Some juicy villager kills here. This is what you like to see. Villager count 71 against 67. So Vindicator, I mean, he did have these gardens, so his villager production was his villager strain at 14 seconds. So he's definitely not out of this game. He's slightly down in population, but he's fortifying his base a bit here. Just chipping away at this Tox ball, winning the fight on the left hand side. It's still looking quite dicey, but if this town center is shooting at the Toxotes, it can do a lot of damage. Vindicator actually tapping out. Bit premature, I would say. But he was behind a bit. GG. Let me update some stuff. Optimal Acorn taking the lead. One step closer to making it into the high garden. Actually, let me go over some of the stats from this game. So I have the civilization and the next map from both players. So next map will be equal footing. We have a Vindicator playing Egypt against the Norse from Optimal Acorn. Let's quickly check these stats. So villager count really equal on both sides. I think Vindicator got its town center up a bit earlier, so it was a little bit ahead, but there's also ox cards included in this graph, so very equal game. Up until the very end, I would say. I mean, if you can look here at the current military graph, Vindicator did lose the fight, but near the end he was kind of getting back into it, I would say. He had the tower up, had some defenses in his base. His production was kind of safe in the back, I would say. So yeah, let's get straight into the next game. It may take some while to connect, so be patient, guys. So we did have the vetoes for both players. Let me check their channel. So Vindicator banned Watering Hole as a map, and Optimal Acorn banned Great Lake as a map. Furthermore, Vindicator banned Optimal Acorn's Persia, which was an interesting choice, given that Optimal is mainly a Greek player, and Optimal banned Vindicator's Celts. So it looks like the next game launched just fine, so we can immediately get into it. So equal footing. I'm gonna leave the chat header open, so these players can ask for a restart if they want. So Vindicator playing as Egypt now. I don't think I've seen this Egypt for... I don't think I've seen it a lot actually. Mainly a Celt player, so a very smart choice by Optimal to ban his Celts. Optimal's Norse, I think he may be a bit more familiar, but Optimal is really the Greek main player. So winning the last game in a very close fashion. This game may be a bit different. So Igri in the chat says Acorn has been practicing NVE. So some inside information here. Acorn knows what he's doing, which is always nice. So he's going for that pretty fast barracks. You gathered some wood with a few villagers on these straggler trees. It looks like Vindicator going for the 2 storehouse opening. He's already going on stone, so is he going for a fast age up and a town center first. Maybe relying a bit on that priestess being able to heal any damaged villagers. I don't know, it's an interesting strategy. There we go. So the barracks is already done. Vindicator almost has the resources for Temple of Ra, which I'm guessing he's going to build. Yeah, he's even dropping off some wood to get it faster. Looks like this villager may be responsible for getting up that temple. Oh, it's a barracks. It's not a barracks. It is a temple. Okay. And there's a window here for Optimal to do some damage, I would say. There's already spears out. This wasn't the barracks, it was a temple. So he's scouting out the base of Vindicator now. He sees that age up. And let's see how he responds with his spears. Because he did send them to defend his hunt, which, well, there's no aggression coming from Optimal's side. Looks like this priestess will get bullied. Pesky pirates. Okay, so some valuable scouting information there for Optimal. He knows that Vindicator is playing very greedy. Well, I guess he only has the one guy on stone. But his barracks is very late. And here are the 3 spearmen. Let's see if Optimal is going for... Okay, it looks like he's committing to these spears pretty heavily, getting 3 villagers on stone. Or on gold, I should say. Right, before I forget, let me remind you all that the quarterfinals of the High Garden part of the tournament will start exactly 24 hours from now. And then 48 hours from now we will have the semi-finals and the High Garden finals, as well as the Low Garden finals. So write it down in your calendar. Be there or be squared. Optimal actually pushing in from the left side, while on the right side we have the hunt. He's just going to go inside town center range. But there's already X-Men coming out. I feel like he's kind of missed his opening. This X-Men is just chilling on the wrong side of the barracks. But I don't think fighting here under town center, fire against anti-infantry units. There's already 2 X-Men out. Oh, there's a villager going down really low. She is still being targeted. Yeah, she is going down. So nice pick off here. Getting 1 villager. But I think kind of overstaying is welcome, especially these last 2 spearmen are not going to do much. We have a second barracks for Vindicator. Oh, actually another villager goes down. So a lot more successful than I think it should have been. Vindicator had some nice micro with the priestess, healing up some units and villagers. But the suicide squad from Optimal getting 2 villagers. He's already at 100 stone. Just looking to buy this, to build a second town center. There's some throwing X-Men out. Looks like the pirate outfit is the outfit of choice for Optimal's Norse. But here comes the counterattack. Vindicator, he had scouted this hunt before. He's going to check if there are still villagers. And they're here. Optimal's troops are kind of in position to defend this. Nice scout by Vindicator, but I think this will be enough. We have 5 throwing X-Men, while the 5th is over here. Don't think he can take this. So he's running away. These X-Men are 1 speed faster than this army, than both the spears and the throwing X-Men. Scout getting in the battle himself as well. One X-Men actually picked off. Let me remove the chat hider. Alright, so the town center, 6 minutes into the game. Town center going up for Optimal, and Vindicator also going for this forward spot. securing the gold here. And also kind of this choke point is a bit covered. Quite an aggressive town center. Oh, the X-Men actually getting caught. Where did all the X-Men? I guess it was a different squad, because here's the 4. It's Optimal getting some valuable picks. His town center is up earlier. He's sitting at 24 villagers to the 21 for Vindicator. So it's looking pretty good for him. He did practice this matchup and he's actually going for some aggression. Looks like he's not looking to build any towers. No more stone gathering on his side of the map. And in the meantime, Vindicator built a stable. So we have some camel riders. And we have just the 2 barracks so far for Optimal. It's going to be interesting if he goes for another barracks. So the town center also protecting his hunt. Would like to see him. Oh, he is actually building another priestess to go empower this town center. Train those villagers a little bit faster. Julian with the philosophical question in the chat: are they really throwing X-Men if they throw swords? That's a very good question. Some nice raids here by Vindicator, sneaking past the army of Optimal. Actually, I thought he was going to go for these villagers. But Optimal is actually pushing in. Oh, these villagers are not quite safe. There is the flank coming in from Vindicator. One villager goes down. Vindicator is setting up the flank. But there are some villagers dying here. Actually, quite a lot of villager kills that Optimal is getting here. He's now sitting at 38 villagers to the 26. So wow. And where is this flank? It's taking a while. I'm not sure how I feel about all these villagers tanking here. There's a lot of villager deaths. And being behind 18 villagers, it's a lot. Vindicator needs to step it up to get back into this game. The army counts are quite similar, but in a little bit of time Optimal will have the greater army because he has just a lot larger of an economy. As long as he can defend these attacks, I think Optimal got this game in the bag. Let's see what they are actually throwing. They're throwing their swords. Yeah, and there's no way you're catching these. Oh. So we do have some multi-pronged harass here by Vindicator. And this is exactly what he needs. He needs to find these villagers, kill them all. He needs to do something to get back into this game. Oh, this is looking good though. Optimal responding though, this storehouse giving some valuable line of sight. So Vindy is popping out a lot of units. He's constantly making units. It looks like they are throwing swords, so throwing swordsmen. I very much agree with Julian's point. So let's see what the production is of both players. 3 barracks, the 1 stables, and we have 4 barracks on the other side. I think it's time, about time to add some more production for these players. Vindicator making a lot of priestesses. He has 3 of them in this army. He's getting the healing upgrade. There's still one doing her duty here. Taking some map control with some watch posts. But this is a scary force, man. 51 throwing axemen. And even more villagers dying, and this is not something that Vindicator can afford. He is setting up for the flank. But you can't fight such a force head on. You need to attack from an angle or you will just get kited. And Optimal playing this really nicely, kiting back with the throwing axeman. He already had the larger army and is now taking a really nice fight. And it's looking really bad for Vindicator. And actually it's already tapping out. So there we go. Optimal taking the game and the series in a pretty quick best of 3. So GG to both players. It's nice to see them. Optimal advances to the high garden. Vindicator will play in the low garden against the Refo. Optimal playing against who was it again? Zerton, I think. Yeah, he's going to be playing against Zerton tomorrow. So let's take a look at these stats. Wow, this is looking rough. So, Vindicator, we did have the early aggression from Optimal. That's happened about here. So here you can see the 2 villagers dying. But mainly what cost Vindicator the game was the period afterwards, where it just was not keeping up in building villagers. He could have even been ahead because Optimal had a small period of downtime as well. Maybe he didn't have food during that period. Nope, he did. I think they were just fighting. Vindicator prioritizing his army a bit, and he did have the larger army for majority of the game actually, but then at the end Optimal just had a much larger economy and he fought at the right time. Just when his army was bigger than Vindicator, he pushed in. So very well played in that regard. Let's take a look at some more of these stats. Current buildings. So Optimal gathering quite a bit more actually. I mean 15,000 against almost 12,000. That's a big difference. Building a few more units and ultimately killing more units than Vindicator as well. So pretty short game, clean and easy. I hope Optimal can perform as well as he did here against as he's going to against Zerton tomorrow. Yeah, so guys, 24 hours from now it's the first day of the tournament. It will take place on Saturday and Sunday. 2 long streams starting 24 hours from now, 48 hours from now at 19 CEST. Let's go back and look at the bracket one more time. I will still have to update it. So this is how the brackets are looking right now. So I will update it, and on the top left you can see that Optimal will advance here, play against Zerton tomorrow. Tomorrow we also have Crimson Cantap against Striker, Recon against Warlock, and Eerie against Greeky. And then all the players that lost in this first round will play in the low garden part of the tournament, which will largely be played off stream. But the finals will be streamed, and I will post some information for you to look at in the chat right now. So here you can find links to the... Oh shit, I'm not logged in. So I will post some information to the official post, where you can find the brackets for both high and low garden. Yeah, and make sure to tune in tomorrow and on Sunday. And for now, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Oh yeah, and also for the guys watching on YouTube, hi to you guys. Thanks to our donators, to Igor Rohani, making this tournament possible. And I'm very excited for tomorrow. See you guys then.